Hello everyone, my name is Klaus Bandisch, for those who don't know me. So far I put out a couple of videos, and this is the very first one that goes into a detail, a key element, a make or break it for you to make it in the top 5 on a Google search result in your niche. As an example, have you ever had a conversation with someone where every other word was the word like a lot of teenagers are using? So to monitor the usage of a certain word, there is an algorithm which is called the TF IDF algorithm. And it's an information retrieval technique that weighs a term's frequency in its inverse document frequency, IDF. Okay? Each word or term that occurs in a text in the copy that you write for your website has a respective TF and IDF score. Okay, this is how it's weighed out. Put simply, the higher the TF IDF score or the weight, the rarer the term is in a document, and vice versa. Okay, so using the word like in a conversation of 100 words, and if you use it 30 times, that's no good. The same thing with copywriting, yeah? So if you use a keyword too much, it's spamming, and it just doesn't work, okay? So Google has been using TF-IDF for a very long time now, and is looking for the term frequency rather than counting keywords in your document, okay? Content writing. And content writing is very important for your website. It's the most exhausting work on your website. So lately there's been a lot of talk about AI generated content for SEO. So what are the best tools for that? And is the content any good? So let's talk about this a little bit. Creating content is the most labor intensive part of SEO. Automating it would be a real game changer, right? So the question is, are we there yet? And I say no. So what I recommend you do, let's just say you're starting a website and you have absolutely no content. Go ahead and use an AI content writer and look at that content writer as your copywriter, and you are the editor. And you fill in the gaps so the document becomes readable. You know what I'm saying? And if you're already ranking, let's just say on page 2 or on page 1 on the very bottom, and you need to improve your content, I recommend, if you wanted to, you can use an AI generator that rewrites your existing text and paraphrases what's important. This is how you will gain in ranking. I have tried it many times and always with success. But you can't just take the text verbatim. You have to edit it and put usable content into the copy of your website. Yeah? So if you're knowledgeable about your topic, use AI writers to create generic copy. Then fill in the missing details and edit the copy for readability. This is like a joint effort where AI is the writer and you are the editor. I wrote down a few things that I'm reading off of my notes just to be very, very clear. Google has no issues with AI content. It does have a problem with content though that has no value to the user. So if you read Google's policy, you will see that the origin of your content is not a problem. Not a problem at all. The problem is auto-generated content is rarely sufficient quality and is usually used to manipulate the search algorithm. And that is very true. But if you manage to create content that is so coherent, informative copy, Google will not penalize you. So here we spoke about something extremely important. This is like the blood in your body. Your content is the blood of your website's ranking, your visibility. I'm not going to give you names and tools here on the video, but if you hire me for 1 hour, I will give you all the tools you need that I have tested and use as I'm recording this, and it will make a difference for you. I had one term that I had a hard time ranking for several months, 6 months probably. I rewrote my content and boom, I went from number 14 into the number 6 position, and then a week later in number 5, and that's where I'm still at. I'm not a believer of being in number 1 position because everybody shops number 1 and then they go to number 2 and number 3. And if you have something on your website that competes with your number 1 ranking, the chances are very good that you're going to get the order or the sale if you're selling a product. Okay, so just to make sure that we're all on the same page, you can use an AI content writer, but you have to edit it so it makes sense. If you start content from scratch, you can do the same thing, but it's more work making sense out of the content that the AI generator produces. I have tried many of them, and they're absolutely okay as a base, but you have to do a lot of work so they're appropriate for your website. So please subscribe to my channel. Maybe share this video with somebody that has ranking issues. And just like when you open up your iPhone, when you click on something, it works. The same thing with me. When you hire me, I will spend my time with you and give you all the tools. So when we hang up the phone or when we're done doing FaceTime, you can actually do and use what I tell you, and you will see a difference. And in some cases, a big difference. If you're already on page 1, what I'm going to tell you is exactly what Google asks you to do. So if you stay within the guidelines, you will make it. There are no shortcuts. I don't care what anybody says. You know, if you do a search for SEO here on YouTube, you'll find 100 results. Everybody has some, I'll get you into number 1. It's not that difficult. Of course, it depends on your market. But in general, if you stick with Google guidelines and you apply what I'm going to tell you already and what I'm about to tell you in the following video and what I'm going to give you and tell you should you hire me, you'll see a big difference. And in today's world, 2021, 2022, if you're not on the first page, specifically above the fold, your chances are very slim. And because there's only one top 10, even though there may be a million search results for your keywords, there's only one top 10, sometimes only 8 results on the first page. But you have got to make it in the top 5, preferably in the number 2 position or the number 3. Number 1 is not always the best. Bigger is not always better. You have to strategize where you want to be at for your niche, and I will help you do that. So until next time, have a great day, and I look forward to your comments and to your subscriptions.